Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Oh, let me just put my microphone on. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our final week of our Fearless Immunity Masterclass. You guys have all been absolute rock stars and joining us every week and watching us on your screens. We can say that it's been awesome to be presenting this to you, but we miss seeing your faces, so we hope you've gained a lot from this video. So, our purpose with this whole masterclass, there we go. It's the standard for natural health care where everyone is empowered to live their full potential. So I just really want to focus on that empowered word there. So the reason we've been doing this, again, we touched on this in the past few weeks, is why do we want good health? Well, we want to experience the world around us in the best possible way, and we want to be able to have a fulfilling life. And that looks different for everyone. And so good health may look different for everyone. And what we really want is you to be able to have access to all of this knowledge that's out there and share these facts because you need to be able to make your own health choices so that you can take control of your health. And you are your own answer in this. And just again, before we get started, I'll just put a disclaimer out there that the views presented here are not necessarily the same opinions as the chiropractic profession, nor of the Alberta College and Association of Chiropractors. This is information that Dr. Danny and I have learned about and come across, and we find it pertinent to share so that, again, we can feel empowered with our health choices. So last week, we talked about next level nutrition and detoxification. And we really went into some of the physical effects that toxins, especially from our nutrition and from a lot of our products, can have on our bodies. And we don't always notice the immediate effects of it. So they often can become like a silent killer in a way because we're not realizing the damaging effects that it's having on us. So it's really important that we build our immune systems to fight these toxins, and B, eliminate them so that we don't have much to fight in the first place. So today we're talking about our fitness plan, and because it's very important to know more than 2 out of 3 Canadians are overweight or obese. So 2 out of 3, that's the majority. A lot of factors are going into this. So that's our processed foods, or also known, we should really call them non-foods, our lack of physical activity, and our stressful lifestyles. This is all building up to an add-on effect that's adding weight to our population. We're becoming an increasingly sick society, and I'm sure you all can look around and see it as well. It's what's really highlighting this is COVID right now. It's kind of going to show that the people that are less healthy aren't faring as well as the people that are more healthy and able to actually fight off the virus. There was also a study done, so again, with this 2 out of 3 Canadians being overweight, a study was done showing that 23% more calories are being taken in by us as humans than compared to 1970. So today versus 1970, we have 23% more calories. And again, we know that it's not just about the calories, but it's the quality of the calories we're putting into us. So that's why we were focusing so much on detoxification as well. One thing I'd like to talk about too is, we are becoming a more overweight society and unhealthy. And one of the factors of that has also been how much easier life is in a way. So if you think about, we've got elevators instead of taking stairs. You can see everyone on motorized scooters now instead of walking. We have drive-throughs instead of even going into the building, which it's not that hard to go into a building versus driving through it. So I challenge you to try and make your life a little bit more difficult in a way. Like maybe you're going to start parking on the other end of the parking lot so that you have that longer walk just to get into the grocery store. Maybe you're not going through the drive-through anymore because it takes a little bit more effort and physical work to go into the building. And of course, taking stairs instead of the elevator when you can. So just simple little changes like that too to make our lives more challenging so that we can move our bodies more. So why are we concerned about obesity? It's about so much more than just how we look. It's about our health. So obesity can actually increase your risk of over 60 chronic diseases. 60. So, and remember, chronic diseases are those that debilitate us for a very long time, and they're very hard to reverse the effects of. So let's get on top of it now. Um, One of the things that it affects too is our quality of life. Obviously, if we're being debilitated and we can't move as much, then how are we able to experience that world around us? Previously, we used to use BMI as an indicator of obesity. So if you had, that's your mass divided by your height squared. Um, if that was over 30, then you'd be determined as obese. But excitingly, they've been using new measures because BMI, it's a good kind of base indicator for risk factors, but it doesn't take into account your muscle mass or your bone density or whether you're male or female. And so there's this new calculation that you can look into. It's the relative fat mass, and it actually has two separate equations, whether you're a male or a female, and then it has different ranges of what your percentage of your essential fat should be versus if you're an athlete versus a regular person. And then it gives you male versus female of what that obese percentage would be, because we do need some fat, but we have way too much on all of our joints and organs right now. So that's a good thing to get on top of, which is why we're doing this masterclass today. So we're going to get on top of it with our 5 essentials. And first, we'll talk about developing a fitness plan because, again, we need to be able to burn off that fat in order to be able to be healthier. So, the most important thing is that let's have a plan. You can't just talk about wanting to do this, you can't just decide to do it. Let's make a plan for yourself that you can actually start to do and achieve your goals. And this way, it'll be much easier to follow and do what you say you're going to do. So, talking about our oxygen and exercise, again, we've been talking about how important oxygen is for our bodies and for fighting with our immune systems and for fighting cancer cells. And the other thing is, our brains actually use 3 times more oxygen than our muscles. So, again, we're talking about obesity and losing weight with exercise today, but oxygen and exercise is so important for your brain as well. Okay, so we've touched on this before. We're going to delve further into it. This short duration, high intensity exercise. So this is our interval training, as most people know it as. This is how we're going to use our metabolic conditioning to enhance that fat burning. So this high intensity research, it shows that it improves your blood pressure and arterial stiffness more so than the longer duration type of exercise. So not only is it more efficient in time, but it's better for your arteries as well. All right, so how does it work? Again, we've touched on this before, but we'll just go a little bit further into it. So when you're working out, I'm sure most of you have experienced going on a long run or a swim or a bike ride. Usually when you start working out, you feel really exhausted immediately or in the first few minutes. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to go on with this. I'm so tired already. Or you're over it. That's because physiologically we have this oxygen deficit that occurs. So when you first start working out, you're actually using more oxygen than you have available in your system. And so that's where your body's trying to catch up. And that's why you feel that way. But then shortly into your exercise, you're like, okay, yep, I can do this. I can keep doing this. It's fine. So now you're hitting your steady state. So your oxygen demand is meeting the supply of oxygen. But then after your workout, as you can see on these graphs here, is the EPOC. That's our excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. So it's trying to replenish those oxygen stores that you used up in the beginning when you had a deficit. So now it's trying to balance it out. And the most efficient way to do this is when the harder you work out in the shorter amount of time, just like in this high intensity interval training, then you'll get a longer after effect of that EPOC, as you can see on the graph on the right. And so that's the sign of a good workout, when you are sweating more after the workout. And so Max Living has an awesome program, Max T3. So Max Living, and the 3 T's are time, type, and tempo. And so it's you can find this on our website at the store. It's $30, and it's only a one-time fee to pay for this. So then you have access to all the exercises on there. You can pick different whatever you want to work on that day. So there's upper body, lower body, and they're all whole body movements found in everyday activities. So it's also really good because going back to the 3 T's, so we have our time, it's short, it's that 12-minute exercises, nice and short. And then type, because you want to be able to do these exercises fast. So the tempo, you won't need to do them fast to get that the most efficient metabolic conditioning. But then the type is because it's based on your ability level. So they do have examples of people in the background showing you the multiple options that you can do. Because say you're doing a push-up and you're doing a proper good form push-up, but you can't do them very fast, but that's not the type of exercise you want to achieve. So then it's showing you different options for maybe you can do them faster if you're on the wall or on a desk or something. So it does show you those options for different types based on your fitness level. So it truly is for everyone. So have a look into that. $30 on the website. So last week we talked about minimizing toxins, and I hope you realize just how we're exposed to hundreds of toxins daily. And the effects of these toxins were damaging our DNA, our enzymes, and they were disrupting our hormones. And so that hormone disruption is how we end up gaining weight. So when we're not able to regulate our hormones, such as, our cortisol production, that's what puts on our weight. And so these chemicals literally disrupt our ability to metabolize fats properly. So again, it's not only just for eating healthier, but those toxins in those food are also making you fatter. So think about that too. It's not just about counting calories, it's about what's in those calories. Whole foods. So here's a big list of toxins that I just wanted to show you. So I don't know if you have your phone out, you can take a picture of this or just have a look through. We talked about BPA, we talked about some of those heavy metals, and those are really hard to eliminate from our systems. And all of these things are added in our foods, in our packaging, in our cosmetic products. We breathe them in the air. And so we really need to, I know these are kind of harder words to remember and pronounce even sometimes, but we really need to start paying attention to them. Even just kind of looking at this list, and if you recognize any of them, that's good. That's a step in the right direction. So there was a study done in China that they kind of tested the most, the most industrialized and populated areas of China. And they found that people who exercised more than people who didn't had less toxins in their systems. And they found this in the sweat specifically. So people who exercised regularly had less toxins in their sweat than people who didn't exercise. And they also found that majority of those heavy metal toxins that they were trying to release from their body was found in the sweat, more so than in our other detoxification system, which is our urine. So it's really important. It's way more efficient to release these toxins through our sweat. So another really good reason to do that high intensity exercise, and you want to sweat out those toxins. And so that brings us to our next essential, chiropractic. So again, chiropractic is so important. That spine and nervous system is what controls everything in our whole body. And so focusing on these other essentials not only help us to kind of prevent subluxations, so that miscommunication in those areas of the spine that aren't working properly, but it also makes sure that all our systems are working properly. So it's kind of a circular effect. And this, I'm hoping that all of you recognize this chart here. We give this to you guys in the first um, your results appointment when we give you your results. But if you'd like this, we can definitely give you another copy or email it to you. This just shows the number one thing I hear when people are learning about chiropractic is that, the nervous system is so much more specific than they thought it was. Like there's literally nerves that lead to certain organs in our body and certain functions that our body performs. So again, it's about so much more than just back pain. What's happening to those nerves that are damaged? What effect does it have on the rest of our body? And it may just be a silent killer, just like our silent killers of toxins that we put in our bodies. And so we always say, when you're subluxated and your posture is out, it causes a lot of tension on that spinal cord and nerves. And I thought this was a really good picture to show you because we always say it, but you can see on the two pictures, it says normal lordosis and then loss of lordosis. So when you have a normal lordosis, that's the C shape that your neck should have. And if it's normal, you can see right beside the red arrows there, it's a nice little L shape. It's nice and loose and lax, looks fun. But then the loss of lordosis, so that's when your neck starts straightening, you can literally see how that's the spinal cord and nerves are being stretched out. And what do you think that's doing to them over time if they're just in this position of stretch all the time? And the other thing was, remember a couple weeks ago when I had us do that exercise, flexing forward and trying to take a deep breath in? Well, not only does it impact our nerve function, but this study showed that that's the most detrimental position for the discs, which are in between all your bones and take all our cushioning. That's the most detrimental position for them. And a lot of us are in that flexed position all day, every day, and our spines are learning to stay in that. And that's no good on our discs either. And so, again, those discs like movement. So, talking about our fitness plan today, another good reason that we need to move our bodies. And so that leads us into our home care, because when we give you these exercises to do at home, or we give you those spinal rolls or the wobble cushion that you do before getting an adjustment, and you should hopefully be doing every day anyway, because that's what generates electricity in our spine and causes energy throughout our whole body, as Dr. Danny talked about a few weeks ago. We also need to reform those soft tissues. So like you saw in the last picture, they were being stretched out and they're staying in that position. And so when we do an adjustment to the subluxated areas, that elicits a healing response. And we're going to want your spine to heal in the ideal position that it needs to be in order to best be against gravity and experience the world around you. And so by doing, say, the spinal rolls on the top right there, then your body's able to heal in that ideal position. We're going to shorten those lengthened ligaments that are also have been stretched and pulled, and we need them to shorten and help with your posture as well. And that is how your nervous system can all reorganize your whole body. All right, so I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Danny now. He's going to talk about the rest of the 5 essentials in how we can help with our weight loss and losing fat and staying healthy. Great to see you guys.
All right. Hey, everybody. Glad that I could join you guys. So, when we're talking about these 5 essentials, it's like, why are we talking about these 5 essentials when we're doing our fitness plan? Because you have to understand a few things is that number one, they all support each other. And there's also a reason why we need to exercise in order to be doing some of these things. Okay, so here's an example of it. Let's talk about mindset. Okay, because if we don't have our minds correct, We may be drifting off, or we're going somewhere else. We don't want to do that workout. Most people don't want to do a workout. That's why we have to have a strong mindset in order to get you to do what you want to do for that workout. But here's another reason why you need to be on a fitness plan is for the stress in your life. Because remember, we talked about when we're dealing with stress, stress affects us in a fight or flight response. Okay, so let's rewind in time back to our Paleolithic caveman days there, that the only stresses that we had was something's going to eat us, right? So saber-toothed tiger, it's coming to attack us, okay? Now that's your fight or flight response because you need to either fight it or run away from it. Those were your two options. Okay. And so now, when you fast forward to today, our stresses are completely different, but it has the same physiological response. And so, what we need to do is still not run away from your stresses and issues. No, but you have to do a workout and exercise to kind of reshift your body back into it. Now, when Dr. Lauren was talking about that high intensity exercise, why is this the best plan for you? Well, let's again rewind back to our saber-toothed tiger attack. Now, if the saber-toothed tiger is coming for you, are you going to be like, oh, wait a second, I just got to tie my shoelaces? So you tie your shoelaces, make sure your runners are on, and then you start going for a light jog for about an hour. What do you think the tiger is going to do to you? Yeah, you're out, you're done. Okay. So that's why there's a huge difference there. Our bodies were created to do these high intensity exercises. So it's just a fast sprint, get out. Because if you're still running for like 3 minutes, he's caught you. Right. So that's why these high intensity exercises are very short spurts of energy, followed by rest and then another short spurt. So that's why you want to do it, because it helps rebalance your mindset in because of all the stresses. Now, another reason why we need to talk about mindset is that when we do have stress in our life, well, what's typically the first thing that we reach out for food wise? It's celery, right? We all do it. Like, we reach out for celery when we're stressed out. No, of course not. Right? We're reaching out for the fastest, easy, sweet things. And that's why stress hinders our weight loss programs. Right? And so that's why we need to one exercise to help our minds ease with that stress, help battle it, but we also have to make sure that that stress doesn't overtake, because the more stress you have, the more you're overeating, the more, in mindset wise, you're thinking that you're failing yourself because you're not losing the weight, you're not getting the results you want to get. Because what happens is that stress creates cortisol levels in your body to rise up. That initially gives you a spike of energy, which is what you need, but then it slowly goes away. And so what it does is that it starts stimulating insulin production in your body. So that's what you want, is the sugar cravings. You crave for more food. That's why we eat when we're stressed, because we're actually craving it. And so by doing these short burst exercises, we actually take that away and make sure that we're not doing that. So we're not overeating. Okay. So really focus on that part of it. Now, the next thing we need to focus on when we're dealing with a fitness plan is our nutrition, right? Because you look at all professional athletes, are they eating McDonald's 24/7? I guarantee you they're not, right? Why? Because they want to fuel their body with the best nutrients possible, because you're using that fuel for your energy sources, right? So we need to make sure we're bringing in the best type. And so what we're really going to be focusing on today is different types of fasting. Okay. Now, the reason why we're going to be talking about fasting is that fasting has been shown to help to reset our immune system. So remember, so bottom line, this master class is about helping your immune system out. Why? Studies have shown that fasting, during that fasting state, actually you have a decreased number of white blood cells. So then when your body has a decreased white blood cell, then it starts generating more. So if you're always starting to generate more and more white blood cells, you're actually ramping it up. And so when you start eating and exercising, your body's now creating better stem cells, right? That actually helps overall with your immune system with its function. So that's really what's happening. Really exciting. Another thing is, of course, is fasting is great for weight loss as well. Okay. Now, the reason why is because fasting actually helps to reset your metabolism and actually helps to burn fat. Okay. And the reason is that what you're doing is that when you're not eating for a long periods of time, your body goes into fat burning mode. So any of your fat storage, right? So that's why we store fats for these times of fasting. Okay. And so this is not a new thing. This is what's always been happening. And so we need to really talk about fasting. Now, when we're talking about fasting, I'm not talking about, okay, you're not eating for like 5 days and you could just drink water. No, no. Fasting nowadays is completely different. It's actually also what it used to be as well, because right now we see we have grocery stores, we have an abundance of food always around us, but when you look at a couple of thousands of years ago, it wasn't like that, right? So it's sparse. We only ate certain meals of the day, and so that's why when you look at your first meal of the day, what's it's also called? Break fast, because it's the first time that you're breaking your fast from the previous day. That's why they call it breakfast. Okay. So, what we're really going to be focusing on is some healthy ways that you can start fasting. Okay. So the types of fasting that I really want to focus on are the ones that you could do on a daily basis or at least on a weekly basis. Okay. So it's actually very healthy to do all of these things. When we're talking about fasting, okay, what this is going to be doing is really help to improve your insulin sensitivities. Okay. Why do I say that? Because digestion is a process in your body. And so what happens is that your body is digesting food and it takes about 8 hours to really break things down. Insulin levels are going up and stuff. And so then if you're eating right away again, well, then everything's spiking up again. You're never giving your body a break. And so that's why we need to give ourselves a break from actually eating to help improve. Well, one is the insulin sensitivity, help to improve our metabolism in our body. It helps to balance out hormone levels, right? It helps to decrease blood sugar levels because we're not always in these high spikes. It actually helps to decrease inflammation in the body, which is really good when we're talking about cancer, because fasting has been known as an anti-cancer benefit. Okay, so doing all these things for fasting is really really good. Now, one of the most common fastings that people are doing is called intermittent fasting. Intermittent means you're not doing it all day, right? We're doing it for a short period of time. Okay, so some people are choosing to do or the most common one, which can be done, is called a 16-8 intermittent fasting. Okay, so what that means is that you are fasting for 16 hours of the day and you're eating during only the 8 hours of a day. Okay, so when you're looking at it, so that means is that you could actually start eating at 10 o'clock, but you want to be finished eating by 6 o'clock. So it's you've got an 8 hour window that you want to consume all of your calories. Now, understand that consuming all of your calories. So, when you're doing a fasting, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm just skipping breakfast. No, no, like, so those calories, you're going to be catching them up at another time. But the point of is to give your body a break during that fast so that you're allowing everything to reset, to calm itself down, to give yourself, your body, your digestive system a break to make sure that your body can handle a lot more. Okay. And so this 8 hours of eating, it could be done at any time. Right. So I know some people that actually would rather eat breakfast, a bigger breakfast than lunch, and then that's it. And then they start their fast. Most commonly is that you'll have your first meal around 11 o'clock and then you're done by 7 o'clock. And so what another great thing about this intermittent fasting is that it limits you of no evening snacking, right? Because what you're doing is you're stopping your eating at 7 o'clock. And so you're giving everything a break. You're giving your digestive system a rest later on, because while you're sleeping, that's when it's actually going to happen. Okay. So that's the 16-8. There's also a 1 meal a day fasting, and that's where you just do like a massive meal. Now, people would this 1 meal a day will typically do it just once a month. I mean, sorry, once a week. You'll do this one, and so that's where it's like you're fasting almost your 23 hours, and then you've got 1 hour of this is what I'm eating, and it's a pretty big meal that you're eating, and so it's very beneficial to help to actually do that. Okay. So the varied fastings for sustainable weight. This is an example of what you could do. Okay. So the 5-1-1. So that's 5 days of intermittent fasting on the advanced plan. Okay. So that's where it's, no sugar, no grains. Okay. Then you could do 1 day of intermittent fasting on the core plan, and then do the 1 day of one meal. Right. So this is one option that you could do. You could also do the 4 days of advanced, two of core. Core allows you to have some grains, some healthy natural sugars, and then go to the, again, 1 day of one meal. Okay, so this is just an example if you want to do it. Otherwise, you could just do that intermittent fasting part of it, that 16-8, all the time, right? There are some people that's just a regular thing that they do, and it's like they skip breakfast, but they don't. They actually just have it later on, that you have that 8 hour window of when you actually can eat. Okay. So if you are looking at doing some type of intermittent fasting, definitely talk to one of us, one of your doctors here, on which one is going to be the right for you. Okay. Because intermittent fasting is a great, great thing to help support your body. Now, when I was doing intermittent fasting, one of the things that they also tell you to do is just before you break your fast, that's when it actually is the best time to do your workout. So you're doing a workout on an empty stomach. And so what you're doing there as well is that you're actually keeping your body in what is called a ketosis stage. Ketosis means you're burning fat on all the time, because there's two different types of energy sources in your body. There's a sugar source and there's fat source. Okay, a sugar source is a very fast, very easy energy source. The fat is a very slow energy source. And so that's why when you look at the high intensity exercise, well, what kind of energy source do you need for a short high intensity? It's the sugar. So any sugar storage that you have, you're using that up during that exercise. And that means that for the next 23, actually they're saying it's the next 48 hours, you're using your ketosis, that fat burning energy source, for the next 48 hours, 2 days worth of fat burning because of one workout you did. Pretty amazing stuff. And so that's why doing that workout and then getting into breaking that fast with healthy foods, right, is going to keep your body into that ketosis stage. And so you're just a lean, mean, fat burning machine all the time, right? That's what you want. That's what we all want. That's how the human body was created. And that's why we really want to focus on doing things like that. Okay. So what's the challenge now? Okay, because every week we try to tell you, let's do something. Let's get you to start moving a little bit more. Let's start drinking more water. Let's start switching the cheeses that you're going to be eating. Okay, and so of course the challenge that we want you to do this time is an exercise challenge. Okay, what we're going to be doing is emailing you tomorrow this sheet that I'm going to show you right here. It's the no gym, no problem, right? Because last week I told you we're going to break down the barriers that people have, the barriers of the mental mindset of, oh, I need a gym membership and I need more time to be able to do my workouts. So this is giving you 8 different exercises that you can do at home, no equipment necessary. Okay. Or if you also want to do it, you could spend the $30 like Dr. Lauren was telling you on getting that max T3 workouts, because the majority of those workouts you don't need any equipment. Okay, so it's real. Or if you do, you could use like exercise bands for some resistant training that you could be doing as well. So super easy. Okay, so here's what the challenge of the workout is going to be. Okay, so what I want you to do is for these workouts, it's going to be 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So what that means is, let's take an example, the squats. Okay, that's number one. You're going to do squats for 20 seconds. You want to go as fast as you possibly can. Okay, and so if you're going slow, going all the way down, okay, don't go all the way down. Do little squats, because the key is you want to go fast. Because remember, think the mentality: the saber-toothed tiger's chasing you, right? You got to go fast. So let's do these squats fast for 20 seconds, and then your timer goes off. Okay, 20 seconds of rest. Once that 20 seconds is done, you're going to do it again, another 20 seconds, and then another rest. You're going to do it a third time, 20 seconds as fast as you possibly can, and then you rest again. And then that's it. You're done with that exercise. Then you go to a different exercise. So we'll look at the push-ups. Okay, great. So just like Dr. Lauren saying, you do your push-ups, and so you could do it standard military style push-ups. If you need an extra challenge, add some weights, add some kids onto your back, and start doing some push-ups that way. If that's too much, go to your knees. If that's too much, go on a bench, right? And start inclining yourself, go against the wall. That makes it easier, so that for 20 seconds, you could go as fast as you can, still doing that exercise. And so you go 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on again, 20 seconds off, and then a third 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Okay. And so understand, we've just done 2 minutes of working outs and 2 minutes of resting. Okay. So then we go to our third exercise. So those bridges, same thing, same concept, 20 seconds, 20 seconds. You could do planks, lunges, the burpees, mountain climbers, or sit ups, right? So that's just examples of 8 different ones that you could do. There's so many more that you could do, but these are just 8 different examples of what you could do at home. No needed equipment. Everyone can do this. You just tailor it to your athletic needs of what you want to do. Okay. And so what you may want to do is you start off by just doing 3 of them, and that's it. And maybe the next week you do 4 of them, and then you could do 5, and then you could do 6, right? Because as soon as you get to 6, that's only a 12-minute workout. Well, it's not even a 12 minutes. It's 6 minutes of actually working out with 6 minutes of rests in between everything. So it's not a long workout that you need to do when we're dealing with this. Okay. And so this is the challenge that I want you to do. And this is a challenge I know everyone can do. It's super good. It's so beneficial, just like all the things we've told you of all the benefits you could get just by keeping your body moving in this high intensity exercise. Okay. So we're going to be sending you this PDF of this folder. We're also going to give that again, that explanation, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Super fun, super easy. Okay, that's your challenge. Next thing I want to talk about is one of our upcoming events. Okay, so this is it for our Masterclass series. But another event that we're doing in the office, so it's not a workshop, but it's our pajama drive. Okay. And so what we want to do is every year is we support the Salvation Army in their efforts to help other families out in the foothills area. And so we want to make sure that everybody this Christmas can have a great one. So the Salvation Army is getting donations of different toys, stuff like that. What we want to do is help them out by getting pajamas for all the families. Because to me, this is something growing up, we used to always get a new pair of pajamas at Christmas time, and it's always fun. And I want to make sure that everybody gets that fun and excitement as well. And so what we're doing is starting on Thursday this week is we are accepting donations of pajamas. anywhere from little babies to teenage pajamas. Please, bring them in. They have to be brand new. They can't be donated as used. It has to be brand new. And so what we do is we collect them for the next 3 weeks, I believe, and then we donate that all to the Foothill Salvation Army so that they could start passing them out to different families in need for this holiday season. Okay, so I look forward to seeing all these different pajamas. We're going to be plastering them all around the office so that you could see them, get everyone excited about it all. It's super, super fun. Okay. So that is everything that we need to talk about for the masterclass. Super excited that you guys were all here to join us. I hope you learned so much in this. I know we've enjoyed doing them because we learned so much doing these as well. It's kind of that reset reminders as well. So glad that you guys are here. Any last words?
Thanks for joining.
Awesome. Have an amazing night. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.